Okay. Let us get the show on the road. Hello, Miata. How you doing? Welcome. Did I send? Yeah, okay. That's sent out. All right. Hello, everybody. Hello. So what do we got here? We got hello, Miata. Hello, Lionel. Hello, Chinstrap. Hello, Alejandro. How is everybody? How does everybody? Really? Me English goods. All right. So there's a lot to go over since the last live stream I've had, and none of it is unfortunately very good, and none of it is stuff that comes from like a set I've been to. Needless to say, this is going to be probably a news heavy stream. Bleep storm is an accurate way to put that. Yeah. Okay. So since we chatted last, the tire fire that was going on that we call Warner Brothers Discovery, which also at times is what we would also call the CW, added more tires to the fire. And I don't know. I just don't know, man. Can someone explain anything that either of these companies is doing? I mean, I understand some pieces of some of their plans. I do get there is some logic to some of it, but it is a thin thread wrapped entirely around by dumb ideas and bullshit. Just 2% of their idea makes sense. The other 98% is just a tire fire. A tire fire merged with another tire fire. Okay, so I was gonna come into the stream with this graph. I was just gonna put this up on stream to start, but I forgot. But let's take a quick look at how things are going in Warner Brothers land for a moment. I'm sure it's going well. Oh no, it is not. Oh, I was so mistaken. I have been terribly lied to. Things are not going well. The tire fire has fired more tires into the tire fire. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So, since just yesterday, they have lost 12.87% of their price. Just since yesterday, which already yesterday is incredibly low, because if we look at the 5-day, this would have been yesterday right about here where you see the little thing. If you look at like 5-day, their 5-day was at like 13.59, and you're like, well, 13.59 to 10.40, stocks take a little dip sometimes, these things happen. But I mean, this is all since the investors call. This is all since the investors call, and look how deep that drop off is. So maybe it's just a small hiccup in the thing. Let's maybe look. We'll go really far back. We'll do like a year. I bet you Bet you over the span of a year, it's not so bad. Oh my God. Gee, why? Is there a mercy rule in stocks? I'm just asking for a friend, you know. This is atrocious. This is atrocious. This is, if you were holding any Warner Brothers Discovery stock and you have not sold it off yet, you are literally throwing your money into a urinal at this point. This is insane. This is insane. In a year, the peak price a year ago. What was the date of this? So this is still in 2022. So this wasn't even a year ago. That was $31, $31.18 at the start of this year. It's now $10, 10.40 in the overnight hours. It's actually even somehow managed to lose money overnight. I don't even know what the 2-year. Oh, jeez, what happened there? What was that all about? We'll ignore that blip on the radar because that's kind of weird. But like, let's take that 43 from 2 years ago. I don't know what the 5-year is. 5-year has been a little more of a mixed bag. It started off actually kind of low a few years ago. I mean, if you got into it in 2017, you still are down money, but you're not as bad as like people from this era. Yeah. So, don't buy their stock. That's probably my advice at this time. Do not buy, because $10 might seem cheap, but I don't see a sign of it going up for many, many years. Yeah. So that's since the investors call, they lost 12%. Don't forget. Just yesterday, the investors call 12%. Or was that 2 days ago? No, that was yesterday, right? Okay. 12% on an already dropped stock is absurd. It's obscenely absurd. Now, I know fans who don't understand this stuff probably listened to all of the stuff he said and was like, of course the stock went down. He was lying. He was telling people stupid stuff. Of course it went down. But you got to kind of understand that the stock market people don't listen the same way you and I listen. We're listening for pieces of truth. We expect honesty to be explained to us. Stock, the people in the stock market want to be lied to. They want the CEO to get up on the stage and be like, everything's fine. Ignore that tire fire behind us. We've got it sorted out. They are used to being lied to. And even they looked at this and they're like, that's too many lies for us. They know they're going to be lied to in an investor's call. And their reaction to that was get rid of 12%. That's insane. I don't know another word to describe it right now. Because usually if a stock is down that much for any length of time, the market corrects itself and it kicks back up after a while. And this has not. Since a year ago, I forgot the number already, but it was a lot. A year ago, do I have the thing still open? 1 year ago. In this calendar year, even January 14th, it's lost just a shade under 70%. Oh, by the way, since I've been talking to you last, it's gone down to 1039 now from the 1040 that we started talking. Cool. Yeah. So I don't know. Get rid of your WBD stock, dude. I don't know. Put it into GameStop. It's probably more chance that won't drop. I don't know, man. I don't know. This is insane. Let me get caught up to the chat now that we have ripped that Band-Aid off with leg hair still attached to it. Is this biographs? No. Pour one out for the CW dead in 2 years. No. Our CW, the one we know, yes, dead in 1 year. Dead this time next year. The CW as a whole will go on for a while. We'll get into that in a few minutes. Warner Bros. Discovery and the CW Next Star sure have been a bleep storm the last 2 days. It has been a bleep storm. So I just bought the CW Canada show coming soon. Thanks to the title, Tire Fire coming soon. Cool. Hello, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks, Destroyer. How you doing? Welcome. I just can't believe the state of things. I would never have thought things would be as they are if you told me this in early 2020 when Crisis on Infinite Earths aired. Right? What was the date of Crisis? When did it start? December 8th, 2019. So we are just days, weeks away from 3 years. Just a few weeks away from 3 years. And this is where we are now. 3 years ago. Not even 3 years ago. A little over 3 years ago. No, under 3 years ago. This is how frazzled I am. I can't do math in my head. Just a little under 3 years ago, everything with the Arrowverse looked up and away and like flying into the air. We're kind of like, oh man, we've got a new Superman show that might be coming. There's a Stargirl show that's coming. Yeah, we're gonna lose Arrow, but Flash is doing great. We've got Batwoman. We had Supergirl kind of still around. Black Lightning was there. Legends Eternal somehow is surviving. Here we are 3 years later. The Arrowverse is done. The people that own the Arrowverse have lost billions. The network that airs the Arrowverse is no longer going to do original scripted programming. I don't know how to compare this to another collapse like this. I don't. I mean, I tell you guys all the time, like, I come from a sports background. I can't think of a sports team that did this. I can't think of a sports team that went from the height of their success to this level of failure in 3 years. I just can't. I mean, there's been lots of teams that have gone from first to worst. There is. But it levels out. And they, the next year after that, they kind of are in the middle of the pack. We're back up to the top again. I don't know, man. I don't know how to describe this to anybody. If you were new to this, you would not understand the insanity Arrowverse fans have gone through in the last 3 years. I just can't believe the state of things. I would never have thought. Oh, I just read that. Sorry. Sure will be. Also, HBO just canceled Westworld today, which didn't. I don't care since I don't watch the show. Yeah, I saw that too. I mean, that was one of their more popular shows for a couple of years. I mean, I remember that was kind of rivaling like Game of Thrones for like buzzworthiness. So surprising. And that seems like a cheap show to make, because isn't it like around like the Old West or some shit like that, but with robots or some shit? I don't know. I never watched it either, but I remember the set was kind of like in an Old Westy area. Also, what is going on with Justice U too? Probably not going to happen. Oh, there's no way Justice U gets off the ground. I don't know why David Ramsey keeps tempting people with it, but it's not. It's just not. I wouldn't hold my breath for Justice You. Neither would I. WB is now a dumpster fire. Dumpster fire the movie. Yes. One's a tire fire, the other's a dumpster fire. Hey dude, how is your day going? Not bad. Not bad. Buy Disney stock. So Disney stock is also down, but compared to WB, it's a fucking glowing beacon of hope. Like, let me look real quick and see what that Disney stock is at these days. Got to get out of this full page. Thank you. Nope, I didn't want to go there. I wanted to go to Disney. So, let me dig that up for you. By comparison, we remember how ugly the screen looked last time with all the red. I'm not going to go full screen, it's too much effort. But 99.58, guys. 99.58. That is just a smidge under 10 times the price of WB stock. Now that said, their stock has struggled itself over time. You see, it used to be up at 176. So it's dropped out half of its value in that time, in about a year. It's also gone down, but its lowest, which was like around here, was only 92. 92! Imagine Warner Brothers stockholders seeing a number like 92. They'd sell it that morning because they'd be like, I'll never get more for it again. So yeah, Disney is definitely much more stable. Much more stable. Yes, it is down. It is down. It is down close to 40-ish% from this time last year. But Warner Brothers is down 68 or 69% from last year, and the price is a lot cheaper. So that is preposterous. Yeah. I tried to tell everyone 2 years ago. I don't know what that was in reference to anymore, Eric. Probably a couple of minutes ago in the conversation. Oh, December 9th. Yes, that was the crisis date. Yeah. If you really think about it all, this is because of COVID. No, I mean, yes, but not all. This is probably 30 to 50% COVID. The rest is on terrible decisions. Also, apparently, CW will not renew their new shows, Walker Independence, The Winchesters, and Gotham Knights, which I thought was canceled and not going to air. They didn't say that they're not going to renew them. What they did say is they're not going to give them back orders for the season. So when you get a new show, what instinctively happens 97% of the time in CW's instance is they give you a tentative order of 13 episodes. Sometime during that filming season, they'll come back to you and they'll be like, we're extending your season to X amount of episodes, whether that is 18, 20, 22, whatever the case is. They usually come to you at some point in the season and go, okay, your season has been extended to this many episodes. This is how many more scripts you have to write. All these shows are not getting that. Every single new show they have is being cut at the 13 episode mark. Now, that does not mean they can't get another season. But it is a really, really bad sign about them getting another season. I would be very surprised if this time next year there are 2 original scripted programs on the CW. I'm sincerely thinking it's going to be 0. But there might be like a legal loophole that one of the shows has that they're like, well, our contract didn't end at this time, so technically we still have a season type stuff, right? But I don't think there's more than 2 of them. I don't know who those 2 are either, but it might be Walker It might be Walker and All American, might be Walker and Walker Independence, but I don't think you get more than 2 shows this time next year that are original scripted programs. Having KFC and Coke and chicken tenders for dinner. All right, delicious. Have fun. Get ready, guys. After the Flash ends, we will be getting the Goldface spin-off TV show. I don't think that's happening now. I don't. Gotham Knights didn't air, so why are they going to renew it? Didn't air. They just didn't give them more episodes, is what they're saying. It was super cheap, but the surprising thing is that it's an HBO show and not an HBO Max show, which we thought was more safe than streaming shows. Yeah, that was, I think, the first thing I noticed too. Is when I saw that, I'm kind of like, HBO show, not an HBO Max show getting canceled. Interesting. Now, it is 4 years into the show. I think surprising part of their decision might be contracts. I don't know who the cast is. I don't know how long each character's been. I don't know if the cast changes out frequently. But 4 years for a cable series is kind of a long contract. They might have got to the point where they're kind of like, we would have to up these guys' contracts. It's not network TV where you do 5, 6, 7-year deals. So it might have been one of those cases. I don't know. Hey, Laura, welcome. Pretty sure now Superman and Lois is getting canceled after the season airs. I would at this point think there's a better chance of Superman and Lois getting canceled than renewed. I would also say there's a better chance of Superman and Lois getting canceled than WBD stock hitting $15 in the next year. Like, there's just it's a safe bet, not a guaranteed bet, but a safe bet. I see a super chat here. Let me find out what Gary has to say. Welcome, Gary. How have you been, man? Good to see you. Do you think Superman and Lois can still get a season 4? Are you mad at me? And when will they announce the winter schedule? Do I think they can get a season 4? Yes. Do I think they will get a season 4? No. Am I mad at you? I am never mad at you. I know you know that. And when will they announce the winter season schedule is a really good question that I don't have a good answer to. I mean, we are now into November and they haven't announced it yet, which is mildly surprising. If you don't hear anything by the start of December, I would start to wonder if they're going to push the winter season back into like March. The fact we're now into November and they haven't said anything on it yet is very odd. Very odd. Yeah. How you doing though, Gary? Welcome. My advice regarding Superman and Lois season 3 is to assume this will be the last season, and if it gets renewed, that's a gift. Yep, that's what I've been telling people the last couple of weeks since the news has gotten more and more grim. Is prepare for the worst. Assume anything you're watching on this network right now is in its final season. Just assume that. If you get another season after that, consider it a huge gift bonus. Hopefully Superman and Lois team takes a page from Stargirl and plans accordingly and don't hedge their bets on a renewal. I think they probably are very aware of the situation. They've had more time than other shows because of the fact they started so late filming. I have a hunch they probably have a good idea where they're going and realize early on they should have an exit plan. Not unless they already have a season 4 renewal confirmed. There's no way they have a season 4 renewal confirmed yet. Hey Marcos, how you doing, man? Yeah, I understand that. Thanks for dropping by. I will do GeoGuessr sometime this weekend. I don't know what your time zone stuff is like though, Marcos, but I also do ones on Twitch on Saturday morning. So in about 16 or 17 hours, I will be on Twitch probably doing one. So if you want to drop by there, but those will just be team duels. It's no like single player games. Just so you know. The only for WB has renewed is House of the Dragon and Harley Quinn. Oh, okay. I'm waiting for all the CW shows like Flash, Superman, Lois, Gotham Knights, and Walker Independence Stand to cancel, and I will be done watching the CW. Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way. I saw a couple people mention after Stargirl got canceled that they had nothing left on the network, so they got rid of it. So yeah, there's continually going to be those stories for the next several weeks, months. Justice U is not happening? I don't think so either. I just finished having a McRib from McDonald's. Ew. That is one thing I just can't, I do not enjoy a McRib. I have tried it 4 or 5 times in my life, and it's never an enjoyable experience. I'm glad you like it, but it is, I can't. Superman Lois better not get canceled. It's gonna. What up, party people? This is what is up, Mr. Andrew Bebacht. We have another super chat here from Mr. Gary Gammon. Will Flash season 9 and Superman Lois season will Flash season 9 and Superman and Lois get a season 4? And does that mean young Sheldon won't go past season 7? Oh, okay. I see you have a follow up there, Gary. Sorry. Yeah. My question is: will Flash season 9 and Superman and Lois season 3 be canceled? Well, Flash is already ending. They already announced that Flash is ending after season 9. Superman and Lois, almost a certainty, is done after this year. I would say in the high 90% chances. As for young Sheldon, I didn't even know. I've never watched an episode. No, I watched the pilot episode. I haven't watched any more than the pilot episode though. Oh my god, it's 6 seasons in already? That doesn't seem even possible to me. Wow. I don't know how the situation is for young Sheldon because that is a show I don't watch and I don't really know the inner workings of how CBS works. But who knows? I mean, if the numbers on it are solid, I think CBS would keep it because CBS has a more competent game plan for shows. How you'll boycott if Superman Lois gets canceled? They won't care that you're boycotting. You're not their target demo anymore. Their target demo is old people who accidentally leave the TV on when they watch Family Feud. I'm glad the Stargirl team didn't play a game of chicken like Legends and the show will have an ending. Yeah, I mean, I think they got lucky that they had a few months warning. They got to see the fallout from like Batwoman and Legends, and they looked at it and they're like, all right, we have to break the glass on our escape plan idea, you know. That little bit of extra time to just be prepared and see things falling out is probably what's going to save them a little bit, having the story wrapped up. What do you mean Young Sheldon's produced by WBD TV? Why the fuck is it on CBS? What the fuck it is? That's fascinating. CBS is so petty about non-CBS titles on their network that they will cancel a high-rated show to put a lower-rated show that they own in that slot. They have done it a few times in the past where they've had a show that's, say, getting 6 million viewers. But they have a new show that they kind of, that they're like, we need to find a spot for this, even though it's only going to get us 4 million viewers. They would rather have that 4 million viewer show that they produce than a 6 million viewer show that they have to license. I'm surprised Young Sheldon could be on the chopping block, depending what their numbers are. I don't even know what their numbers are. I didn't look. Let's see what their numbers are. Episodes. Ooh, they're still doing like 9 million an episode. So, I mean, they're probably safe. Probably. Oh, they dropped a bunch this season, though. Oh, boy. Actually, they didn't drop that much. If I had to go out on a limb and make a decision on them right now, I think they're probably safe. The only thing I would say about that show is I guess it just runs as long as the kid can stay young. But I'm worried they won't make Flash season 9 and Superman and Lois season 3. Well, I can understand the hesitance because of the things like what happened with Batgirl and stuff like that, but that is a unlikely to re-happen situation because they also, I mean, they've got a lot of money sunk into it, but they also have money coming back from that. Unlike Batgirl, where I understand from a business decision, it's a scummy, stupid business decision, but I understand from a business decision that there was value in their tax write-off. I understood it. There's no value in a tax write-off for a show that's already this far in. They're not going to ever cancel a show they put this much money into. Now that said, they've done some insane things and have proven me wrong once or twice. So I wouldn't like sign off saying I decree this is official. But these shows are going to air. How long will Superman and Lois be safe? Until the end of this season. Young Sheldon season 1 to 6 is on HBO Max. Okay. It makes sense since it's a WB production. All right, I have caught up to the chat. Let's see what was the other topics I had to discuss today. All right, we already did the stock. Oh yeah, I've still got the Disney one open. I wanted to keep WB open so I can watch the tire fire unfold. Oh, you'll be happy to know they're back up to 1040. So they gained that 0.1 cent back that they lost earlier. Which do we attack next? We've been talking about the investment stuff. May as well keep with that. Where's your StreamYard link? Oh, you want to come in? All right. Give me a second. We're going to get a possible special guest star all the way from Hollywood, California. Where was I? I think CW wants Walker and Walker Independence to have Texas high school football during the prime time hours, 7 to 10 p.m. and have Walker at 10 p.m. and Walker Independence. Huh? I'm lost on that one. I'll get you in here in a second there, eh? Someone got literally dramatic that Arrowverse is dying. We are all going to die when they heard Stargirl ended. There's how people make it a big deal over cancellation. People get very emotionally attached to shows. Very emotionally attached. Isn't that right, Andrew?
I hate everything. I'm so done with this year. Like everything is horrible.
It's been a very rough, let's say 16 or so months for anyone that is a comic genre fan. But before we get into more of your comments, I just got a super chat here from Gary. But do you think the Flash and Superman and Lois will at least do their final seasons? Are you proud of me? Sorry, I've been absent. Had at home. I'm so sorry to hear that, Gary. I am really
Condolences.
sorry to hear that. Yeah, you never have to. You never have to explain why you're gone. But I'm sorry to hear that. That you will get their final season. I know some people, including myself and Andy, have joked about that they could just cancel it on a whim, but this is a very different situation than like the Batgirl movie. The money they've put in and the contracts they would have to uh, break with like their service providers in other countries, way too much red tape for them to actually ever do that unless Zaslav actually just has a full breakdown instead of the half breakdown he's already had. Um, you will get those seasons, Gary. Am I proud of you? Definitely sometimes been proud of you. And again, I'm really sorry to hear that, Gary.
Hope you and your family are doing okay.
But welcome everyone. We have Andrew has joined us all the way from Hollywood.
Superstar
I heard he was just on the set of the new Ezra Miller Flash sequel movie. He is going to be his brother. You still have that on your desk?
Yeah. Why would I throw it away? Why would I throw that away?
So the next thing I was going to jump into on here is everybody's favorite talking point, investor gibberish. All right.
Money.
So our buddy over at Warner Brothers, we all know him as Daddy Zazzy. They missed on revenues as advertising takes a hit. I don't know why. Do you have any insight on why maybe they're having problems keeping advertisers?
Grant Gustin didn't want to do advertising for them anymore, so he pulled his stocks. Legal disclaimer: it's a joke. Grant Gustin has no, as far as I know, any WBD stock. And
if he does, I hope he sold it.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, when I first saw this headline, the instant thing I thought was, of course advertisers are leaving. They've seen everything that's going on. Like, they're the first people that are going to drop you is your advertisers, because their only concern ever is the money. Stock investors, they might ride it out because they think, hey, maybe this will go back up in 8 months. These guys are worried about the now and only the now. When they see your company falling apart, they're the first ones out. I don't know why. I don't know why he didn't see that coming. This is what I found interesting also, is they talked about the fact that they have 94 million combined subscribers across the streaming services. I found it interesting that they tried to like prop it up by combining the service numbers instead of breaking them down individually, because they're trying to make it sound more impressive. Didn't work.
What a weird flex.
They said that's up from 92.1 last quarter. Okay, maybe it's up, but it should be up a lot more than that in theory. You know, what's that? That's 2.8 on 94. So you're talking about 3% it's up. How many of that is Discovery? How much is that as HBO Max? And what are the price points? Because that makes a big difference too, you know. If you lost it, like, I don't know the price point on either of the services, or if each service even has multiple price points, but I'm just going to throw this out as a theory to make my point. Let's say HBO Max is $15 a month and Discovery is $7 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? If you gained 3 million new subscribers, but 4 million of them are Discovery, and you lost 1 million HBO Max, you're not really making a lot of money. You kind of are maybe breaking even from where you were at 92.1 million. So these numbers that they throw around, I'm kind of like, okay, I mean, on the surface, the numbers look impressive to a casual viewer, but I understand there's price points. I understand that 3% is only a 1% per month gain. And other platforms, I think I saw Disney Plus, they did something like 14%. And they did 3. So, the wording and the way that they tried to sell the points that they were trying to make to people is kind of, I mean, like I said, I don't know if you were here at the start, but I gave a lot of people like a little insight into how stock business is investors expect to be lied to. They'd be like weirded out if Zaslav came in there and told them the truth. They expect to be lied to. They want to hear someone talking big and bold and brave. And he's doing that with his talk and they didn't buy it. So that's not good for your company.
All right.
That's all you have to say.
I'm just so tired of David Zaslav. Like, it's like every day. I mean, it is exhausting to just have to, like, I know we're joking about it, but it's like, it's scary to know, like they could take the Flash from us, like the season 9, if they wanted to. Legally, like, they could find a way, and it would, they wouldn't care.
It would decimate that company money wise. I mean, they could legally do it, but they'd be paying a shit ton of penalties on it, like to other streaming services that they've already sold it off to for other countries. Not to mention something like Grant, Candace, Danielle clearly will get back ends off of the sales of like individual episode sales and DVD sales. So they would have to pay them out somehow. So there's a lot of money they would have to give away to do that. And that they don't come across as a company that wants to throw money. They're willing to lose money, but they don't want to give out money.
Oh, we have another CW cancellation.
Hold on. Let me see if I can find it and how amused I am. How long ago was this? Like in the last few minutes?
Yeah, like let me. I mean, I know some people are tweeting about it now.
Okay, just give me a second. I want to see if I can find it on my own and what I believe. Okay, I've scrolled about 20 minutes into my timeline and I don't see it. Maybe just DM it to me then.
Okay, hold on. Which show do you think it is?
I gotta remember what's left on the network. Give me a second to even look and see what they got on the network. That's how bad it is. I don't know what's left. The CW. The CW has currently programming. List of broadcasts by the CW. Okay, so The Flash is done. Riverdale's done. Nancy Drew's done. Stargirl's done. Okay, it is one of 2 shows, I believe. It is either going to be All American Homecoming or Kung Fu.
Nope.
Okay, now I'm more curious. Did you DM it to me? No, you didn't DM it.
And I'm waiting for you to give me because you were like, no, wait, hold on, I want to guess. I'm like, okay, well.
All right, okay, yeah.
So let me know when you want me to send it.
Yeah, just DM it to me on Twitter.
Okay. 3,
that way I can bring it up on
2,
screen.
1.
Oh God! I was never. I was gonna guess that. Oh, you got me good on that one.
Wait,
oh my God!
It is a CW show, and they literally.
Yeah, no, you're correct. You're not inaccurate, guys. I know you're going to be heartbroken. Everybody, devastated to hear but Whose Line Is It Anyways has been canceled. Oh no!
I must have given people so much panic attack during the time. Like, wait, what did Andy just see? Because if it was something embargoed, then I wouldn't even say a thing. Because I would be murdered.
I almost quote tweeted Colin, and I'm like, that's just mean. I was gonna make a joke, but then I realized I'm quote tweeting one of the cast.
Oh, that was so funny.
Oh God, guys,
I'm sorry.
I am sorry. We're sorry to break this news to you, but we just lost Whose Line Is It Anyways? So I don't know, man. That's a show I would have actually expected to get picked up, aren't you? Like, that's right in the wheelhouse of the CW's agenda.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, what a strategy they seem to have, as in they don't have anything. I'm CW is like I'm ready to be done with them.
Thanks again, Gary. I see you do have a follow-up question here. How many episodes will Superman and Lois have this final season? I believe it's going to be 13, might be 15. It'll be in the 13 to 15 range.
I heard 15.
Okay.
Unless something has changed since last time I spoke to any of those sources. But
at this point, anything could change on every given day. I don't know. Were you on Eric's stream the other night when I told you about what I heard at the Flash set? Yeah, you were. Yeah. So for those of you that didn't see Eric's Twitch stream the other night, I will go very quickly over this because I don't want to get held up on this too long. But I was at set the other night for the Flash, and a crew member told me, unprovoked, we were not talking about the topic at all, that their budget has been cut. He didn't go into details how much. He didn't go into detail on when. But the fact that it just came up out of the blue, the first or second day into a new month, I feel that this is a new thing. Now, I know you said the other night you think this is from the start of the year, but
yeah, still, I'm not really. I don't think for Flash, because I think in the end, if it was in the middle of the season, then I'm pretty sure Warner Bros. TV are somehow they are picking up that slack then, because I think for them they know it's they want to make sure that it looks good, everything is good for the final season because they know it's going to be. Flash is one of the biggest IPs. Trust me, it's one of the biggest shows for them. So
it's one of the biggest shows. It's one of the biggest shows for the CW, but
no,
for Warner Brothers. For Warner Brothers, they kind of are looking at this going, we're getting out of television. They're just throwing everything out the door that they might have just started not caring.
Well, the Flash is still a huge IP for Warner Brothers in general. In everything. The Flash IP has gone up in value since the Flash TV show, thanks to merchandise and distribution for Netflix and DVDs and Blu-rays and so on. So it's I wouldn't, because and I don't know why this crew member brought this up, and hopefully, is this person the only one who has reflected on it? Because
this is one thing I was gonna say that other night in the stream, but we got derailed by something. It's still only one person that said this. If I were to write an article about it, I would not do it on the basis of one person's statement. I would wait for a second source to tell me the same thing. But the fact that he came up to me and told it to me unprovoked, we were talking just about the set, and then he added that in out of the blue. Really weird for it to just come up out of the blue now, 2 months into filming, So.
Well, if I can add, again, and I don't want to accuse this person.
I'm still here. I just gotta blow my nose, so that's why I'm
okay. Well, good night. What I will say is that it's, again, I don't know who this crew member is, but it wouldn't shock me if, because sometimes people who work on some of these Hollywood productions, they love being able to stir the pot. They will sometimes feed wrong information because sometimes they like just to see how people are going to react. I know.
I have definitely had crew members try and sell me on an idea that I knew was incorrect. So I know that type
Now,
of stuff
I will say
happens.
that I will say this: is it normal for shows that are so long in their run, like The Flash, to start losing, having budget cuts every season? Yes, but I think having in the middle of the season, it sounds a little dicey to me, and like I think also like because if because I feel like if this really was as big of a deal as he's trying to make it, this person, I don't know what their pronouns, I'm just gonna say that they think it is, then
Mm.
I promise you, Deadline or Variety or one of those trades would have broken at by now. I do think definitely like yeah, there's definitely like budget trims they do, but that's probably why they didn't bring back Jesse Lamar as a series regular. Like partially,
Well, I know from experience because I know someone that it actually happened to. I'm not going to say the production, but there's a show in the Arrowverse that cut their budget 1 year after the show had started filming. It was early in filming, like it
Wait,
was
can you text me? I don't
second.
know. Is it the same one with
It,
I'm not gonna say
what?
anything on there. Can you show me in private chat like if it's the same show that I think it is?
Let me open up my DMs and see what you say.
No, I want to say what you're saying. Like like you tell me like what
Oh, okay. I'll tell. Yeah, I'll tell you in there. Okay, so I had a contact on the show that told me weeks into filming, like this is 2 or 3 weeks into filming, that they had to release 2 crew members and that they had cut this person that I'm talking to's job by 50% because they had to trim the budget for the show. So I know it happens. Now, I don't know how often it happens, but that one never got reported by any trades either.
That's
So
okay. That's a good point.
so I am willing to at least entertain the thought based off of the fact I know it's at least happened once before in my own personal experience with someone I know. But that said, like I said, I would not write an article on it until I had a second source on it or until WB or someone comes out and says something on it. But just something to keep in mind, people. All right, so we have Gary here. How much percent do you think the Flash and Superman and Lois will be canceled before the final season? 0 on the Flash, 0.1% on Superman and Lois. The only reason I give 0.1% on Superman and Lois is I don't actually have a good reason. I just didn't want to give the same answer. There's a 0% chance they're canceling them, Gary. If I end up being wrong, by the way, Gary, if somehow this show gets canceled before it airs the season, I am going back and bringing up this quote tweet or this post and be like, Gary's the one that got it canceled. But no, you didn't, Gary. You didn't. Don't worry. It's not. They're too far into the money part of this show for them to do that. Way too far in. This is not like a Batwoman situation or Batman or Batgirl situation. There's no tax incentive for them to do this, so they wouldn't. What else we got here? I'm so far behind in the chat, I lost track of where I was.
You were at.
Young Sheldon was the last thing I talked about before
Yeah.
you jumped in. Yeah. Okay, I found it. Okay, I talked about that. Also, Batgirl was more specifically WBD's call. Flash and Superman and Lois is a CW Nexstar decision. Yes, that is a very, very good point. Yeah, that would be up to CW Nexstar too, and they already have signed off on it. So, if they were going to start doing that, then they would just start canceling other shows now. Like they wouldn't even wait around. I forgot we were talking about this article. I don't know why I had the stock page open, but this one was interesting too. WBD reported earnings of 9.8 billion and a loss of 2.3 billion, missing Wall Street's expectations of 10.4 billion in revenue. Now, they follow it up with the large losses mostly due to the substantial restructuring charges and write-downs tied to the merger. But they would have known that going in. The people that make these estimates knew there would be a restructuring going on. They understood there was going to be money being moved around. So I don't know why they're trying to pitch it as like, well, yeah, it missed its revenue target, but there's reasons for it because they would have had those reasons as part of their reason for thinking 10.4 billion is the target number. So I don't know.
It's it's like they're trying to just like, it's almost like they're afraid of having, like they only want to have yes men around them that will only say, look, oh, you're doing such a good job, what a good boy, and not like really point out
most rich people want that though.
Well, true, but it's like Bob Iger would never do something. It would never be this ignorant, I think. So I just.
So this was an interesting. Sorry to cut you off.
That's okay.
This was an interesting line I saw other people quoting on Twitter, and to be fair to him, I agree with this statement. I do not think there is any one show on the platform that would have helped their numbers dramatically. I do think that's an accurate statement. I saw a lot of people on there like, oh, you canceled this thing that I watch. And it's like, yeah, you and like 40,000 other people watch it. I understand. I understand you're disappointed, but your show wasn't going to make or break their platform.
Can I say something?
Yeah, sure.
And again, I think it's good. And this is more of a reminder of what you've said before that I always say to my fans, my followers, whatever. So is that, us fans, we don't, people who love these things, we're not on the business side of things with some of these shows and movies that we watch. For people, it's very rare that you will find an executive who's both like a massive fan that would just love to do what we're doing, just sitting on YouTube or doing podcasts, writing articles and so on, because they're loving it. For them, all they see, they see value in numbers. They see like what is going to make us the most money back. So like if for example, I know, for example, when you remember in the at the beginning, towards the fall, we started hearing that we were removing a bunch of titles from HBO Max, and which again I think it sucks for the people who cannot, the people who work on these shows that can't get them in physical medium. But I will say this, is that if no one is watching your stuff, there's no point in paying those licensing deals, because the thing is that you don't just because it's an HBO Max show, it still costs them money to run it on the streaming server in however countries HBO Max is available on. So that is, I don't like David Zaslav anymore than you do, but he's right.
Yeah, I mean this again goes to the fan versus. I mean, I am a fan, but I have that business background enough to understand it's a business. They're not making this because they really enjoy like the content. They're making it because they know other people enjoy the content, and they would look at it and be like, okay, well, yeah, we have. I think Legends is a perfect example. Legends has it's 300,000 devoted. They will watch the show if you put it on at 3 a.m. fan base, but they have almost no other follow-through viewers. Whereas another show, like let's say, perfect example would be like a Whose Line Is It Anyway? Maybe doesn't really have the same devoted fan base, but they have enough casual viewers that'll just tune in at this time or that time. So they would look at it and they're like, sure, we know we're always going to get 300,000 with Legends. And there's some days with Whose Line Is It Anyway? We might only get 150,000, but we know on the average, Whose Line is going to get a higher average. So we're going to keep that show instead because money-wise, that one is more likely to make us a longer-term profit. Doesn't mean a show wasn't profitable. I think Legends still somewhere in all the paperwork was making them money, but it wasn't making them enough money to justify a time slot, And it all comes down to the dollars and cents in the end. Doesn't matter how many Twitter hashtags you come up with. They don't, at the end of the day, Twitter hashtags don't make them money.
And he's not saying this to be mean. He's saying this because this is a fact. Like, even I will say this. Everyone knows I'm a huge fan of the Snyderverse, and like, yeah, that movement was
you Snyder cultist. No,
well, no. I can acknowledge there are toxic members of that fandom, and I do not support their endeavors and their methods. I think it's disgusting. The people that they've been harassed. Even I hate Walter Hamada, but you should never harass.
I think this is a problem that a lot of people have on social media is they see the worst examples of a particular fandom and they treat everybody that comes from that fandom like they are the same thing. Again, I know I say this all the time, and I've already said it once this stream, but my background comes from sports. I used to have that very attitude towards fans of certain teams. Certain teams, I'm just like, oh, this guy's going to be an asshole because he's a fan of that team. It's the same in television. It's the same in, all movies and everything else. Perfect example. We're about to bring it up. Where did I just saw it here. Okay. So the very last thing of this article was the kicker for me. When I heard this the other day, I went on like a rage rant. I was going to do a live stream yesterday because I was so worked up about this quote. And he emphasized his desire to lean into franchises, citing DC Comics, the Lord of the Rings movies, and Harry Potter franchises as potential growth areas. I don't know if he's picked up a newspaper in the last 5 years, but Harry Potter's writer is canceled. He would be better off getting a production deal with Harvey Weinstein. I don't know who decides I'm going to roll with Harry Potter creator at this point. Explain this one to me. Has he not seen a newspaper, a television, or a computer screen in like the last 4 or 5 years? Like, before he got this job, was he in like a cryogenic chamber being like held until he could be released to the public?
Listen, David. I get that some people who are sexually frustrated or sometimes just not focus on things. But what I'm saying, if you're married, maybe have a nice dinner, have a nice passionate night, but bro, pull your head out of your ass. Like, what the? Can I curse on the stream?
Yeah, I don't care about monetization enough to worry about that.
Fuck it, David. This is idiotic. You moron. First of all, you don't even have the Lord of the Rings rights anymore. The movie rights, I think, are back with the Tolkien estate.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that part. Like, that obviously wasn't the part that jumped out at me, but that's even funnier.
No, I'm just trying to sum up what you're saying. For the Lord of the Rings, like, I don't think you can do anything with that, David. Secondly, when he was saying that it's been 15 years since we had a Superman movie, Man of Steel came out. It has not. Yeah, someone else pointed that out on the internet, and I'm like, oh my god, that, like, not only is he stupid, he doesn't even have his facts straight. Yeah, but Harry Potter, until that woman is gone, you do not touch that IP. Listen, listen. If you want to pay her just to use the rights, I think that's okay-ish.
I don't.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, ish, because I'm very torn on it. But like, don't give this woman both royalty money and then also be tapped to as an executive producer and even the writer, because I think like she wrote, I think she like contributed to the script somehow to some for some of these movies. I mean, I know she gets credit for in some capacity, but I'm just like, you don't need like you don't need to keep enabling you don't need to keep enabling this woman. It is wrong.
Exactly.
And it's like, at this point, I'm just feeling that you need to start reading, the room, for
Hmm.
fuck's sake. This is just fucking
Like,
embarrassing.
has there been like, I don't keep up on her life, but has there been anybody that has like done anything with her in 5 years, like a movie, a book company, or anything like that?
I think she's done some children's books, but it's like, who the fuck gives a shit about that? Like,
What? Because
I'm
like
just
I knew 4 or 5 like hardcore Harry Potter fans, and I used to roll my eyes at them because I already had a disdain for her before she turned into what she was. Um, I don't think, as far as I know, any of them are fans anymore. They might still admire the old work, but they would not go out and watch a new project because of her. And they were her core audience. So, I mean, it is insane to me.
I just like, okay, if you want to try to get the Lord of the Rings right, I mean, I don't even know what you would do movies on. You've already done the books, all of them. Like,
Yeah.
if anything, you should have tried and bought the rights when they were trying to do a TV show. Like, this could have been they could categories. They could have had Rings of Power and House of the Dragon on HBO Max, and
Hmm.
that's David, you stupid bleep.
Yeah. I don't
No, you know
understand
what?
that guy.
I can't blame that on him because he wasn't there when the TV rights were sold. This was like in 2017 or
No, yeah,
something.
yeah, there's things you can and can't blame him for, and that
But you're still
maybe
an idiot, David.
it could, I will give him this. He could have been in the middle of a call and just been kind of like remembering they had Lord of the Rings and not realized what he said. I can possibly,
No,
maybe
some of these speeches,
see.
some of these things that they bring up, like usually they are like prepared. Like, it wasn't scripted, but like these were talking points that something that they do prepare when they go on these conference calls. Like they're like, they have like, I don't know if it's like they have like a screen in front of them, but like these are definitely things that they probably had like talked about. Um, you know, because
Thanks again, Gary.
I think they're probably thinking that, well, like, we could do movies or whatever.
Hmm. I'll just answer this, then we'll go back.
Hmm.
Well, Flash and Superman's final season start filming. They've been filming for a couple of months, Gary.
So they start
They
tomorrow. Those episodes are gonna start
started.
away.
Was that?
They're gonna no. I mean, those episodes they're just buffers. They're gonna start filming next weekend. Like they're starting from scratch.
Don't. Um, well, give me a second there. When did they start? Superman and Lois started September 8th, ends April 5th. And The Flash started September 14th, ends March 6th. So there's your filming dates, Gary. They're about 2 months in. No, about a month and a half in. No, almost 2 months for Superman and Lois.
When did he go on break for filming?
You mean Christmas break?
Well, that and Thanksgiving. Well, do they not get Thanksgiving breaks?
Not like, I mean, there used to be some companies that would, like Superman, or not Superman, Supernatural would get an extended break. Once Upon a Time would get an extended break, but smaller shows rarely get an extended break. They might get like one extra day. They might get the Thursday through Monday off, but not. They wouldn't get like the week-long break like Supernatural and Once Upon a Time would.
Okay.
And when I say smaller shows, I'm talking the exception to the rule is Supernatural and Once Upon a Time. Most shows get like a 4-day break. So
Yeah. Well, David, I don't know what you're smoking, but again, like maybe just you need a passionate night, a good dinner with your wife, and like maybe you need a good Christmas gift from your kids or whatever. But like, dude, it's like stop smoking whatever crack you're on and wake up, wake the fuck
Are
up.
you
It's like,
are you suggesting that it's his wife's fault?
no, well, he's neglecting his family obviously because he's like what as I get super defamation. He's like I don't even have a family. I'm like, well, then what are you suing me for? But yeah, I want more Harry Potter stories, but I don't want it if it means that she gets more money and she gets to still create stuff. Like I
And
like,
unfortunately, that is how that rolls.
yeah, yeah, I
It'd be like making the Cosby Show, but somehow not having Bill Cosby. It just can't be done.
But yeah, I took more offense to the Superman comment because I'm like, you've had Man of Steel in 2013, like, and you're about to bring back Henry Cavill, so like, it's like, but I'm glad
that was funny that was more funny to me than stupid. Like the comment about Harry Potter, to me, I was just like, someone buy this guy a newspaper. Like, let him know that this is not 2010. But the Man of Steel one, I just more laughed at that he's that ill-informed, But yeah, I've lost track of how many times this guy can surprise me now.
Watch this is going to be. You know what we need? We need a show about like I don't know, like a pair of brothers fighting supernatural creatures, something like that, driving in a black car. Like we haven't done that yet, right?
Sure.
Yeah, like good luck, David. Try, listen, like try and make a new supernatural show and see if Jensen Ackles will like you. Because that man will speak to you if you like say something dumb, David. Like he would be like, wait, hold on. I had to be like a straight person now. Hey, David, what the fuck, man? With your 15th season of Supernatural, what the fuck? What? Do you know how many times I said Sammy, for 15 fucking years? You piece of shit. Let's go, Dean. Let's get in the car. I don't know.
And the characters' names will be San and Dan.
and Dastiel.
Sure.
So stupid. Could you imagine being could you imagine like if you were like LA graphs and like you were taking photos of like the Warner Brothers law and just like seeing all this madness going on, you're like, and then trying to break them down in your videos. I'm like, so hey guys, Canagrass here with a brand new video. I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at. These morons are running around and like canceling this and so on, whatever. Like that would be such a journey to follow.
If I lived in Los Angeles, I wouldn't have time to do the reporting part of my job. Vancouver's so slow, I have time to go to sets and take photos. If I lived in LA, there's 37 things to go get autographs of every night. So I'd have to pick one or the other, and one pays, the other one doesn't.
But that seems like the DC brand is something that he was gushing about James Gunn and Peter Safran now being on board, which how you feeling about DC Studios, Canagrass?
I like the decision of having two different people being in charge of their specific skill sets. James Gunn, I wouldn't put him in charge of business. And the other guy whose name I don't know, I wouldn't put him in charge of creative, right? They both have their skill sets, and that's what they were hired for. Surprisingly, not an outrageous idea. I feel bad right now for both of them because they were probably hired with with a mandate of this is what we can't have. And they're going to have people coming at them for months, possibly years, going, why don't you make this thing? And they can't just go on record and be like, we're not allowed to, you know. But they're good. They've got this job, and they know going in that here's X amount of things we just don't want you making, and here's X amount of things we do want you making. You know, and then outside of that, you have some creative control beyond that, and some financial control beyond that. So, I think they are there to. I think some of their hiring was PR. You know.
I don't know if that's necessarily fair. I feel like I feel like they have like an authentic role now, with these studios. I think that it wouldn't shock me if, for example, like 2023, we have Shazam 2, the Flash movie, Blue Beetle, and Aquaman 2 coming out. And I would be surprised if maybe in 2024 we might go a little more low key. Like we might only have 2 DC movies in 2024 as they start to revamping things that are doing, going this new direction they're going in. But because if you sign James Gunn for a 4-year deal, I feel like that you're like he's gonna David wants stuff out of him, and I think that. Oh, you don't agree?
No, I was listening to and just was like,
yeah. Oh, it's not like you were like, Andrew, you're wrong, Andrew. No. But I go on
backwards.
What was the question we got from the chat?
Gary just had a super chat here, and he's like, so since they are filming, does that mean Flash and Superman won't end before their final seasons? That's unknown. Superman and Lois should be still filming when the new season starts. The Flash is a question mark because I don't know when their season's going to start. I mean, if they get a March date, then they could, in theory, what's their exact end date again? March 6th. So anything after March 6th, I mean, they could, in theory, be done filming before the show starts airing. In theory. I hope not. What the hell? David Ramsey's back on the director's list? Oh, he's coming back for Superman and Lois again.
But we knew that.
I didn't. Somehow that slipped by me.
Well, we knew it was coming back.
There's so many David Ramsey things that are said all the time. I can't keep track of them all. So yeah, that is a rough estimate, Gary. Superman and Lois almost certainly will be back before they wrap the seasons. The Flash, to be determined.
We haven't gotten any dates like us in the press. They have not said anything yet. So I would say at this point, I don't think a January date is going to happen at all.
No, I don't have any faith in a January date because
late February or early March.
We're too far in for it to be January.
I know when I spoke to Eric Wallace, this was before we knew that it was the final season. He said that one of his hopes is that when they do come back in 2023, is to have as few hiatuses as possible. That's kind of why I think they also pushed it to next year, because I think they want to kind of give us a clean run of these episodes. Because I think because if you think about it, during season 8, after the Armageddon break, we only had 2 1-week hiatuses for Flash season 8. There you go. Hi, Victor.
So we got Victor here, and he would like to hear from somebody important. So you're going away for a minute because we have a very special guest here, all the way from Star Labs. Where's the camera? Is this the camera over here? Okay. Hi. Victor, my name is Barry Allen. I am one of the fastest men alive. I sometimes am faster than other people, but not always. Part of the problem is because I don't get a good pep talk before I go out the door. So if you're listening, Eric, more pep talks so I can do gooder. Now I gotta go. I heard there's a cat in a tree. Whoa. Where'd he go?
You did not just throw him.
No,
See, that-
He ran away. He ran away.
Okay.
He ran away. I swear to Bebo. Ran.
Those things have money value, bro. What the fuck?
No, he's perfectly fine down on the floor.
Give him CPR.
No.
Okay.
He's just resting. Okay, guys? He's just resting. So much for the Superverse. No, that's totally still going to be a thing. They're going to do a spinoff with the Cushings. Then the Cushings are going to become superheroes, and they're going to have their own friends come in, and one of those friends will get their own spinoff show. And in 4 years, we will have a new Crisis on Infinite Earths. Totally happen. Ooh, question for you.
It will happen when my mother and father get deported, as in never.
You're really tempting fate with that. Or did Eric tell you something? Blink twice for yes, blink once for I am legally not allowed to talk about this.
We haven't talked since Sunday. He's been busy. I've been busy.
I think I saw you blink. Now he can't blink for the rest of the stream. What, are you trying to do a John Cena there?
Peacemaker, you can't see me, but time is now.
Oh, yeah. So, as I was saying a little while ago, I also had this brought up, but I got sidetracked. Earlier this week, we had some other news that came about, and that was... Why is that not showing? That's just rude. I hate when that does that.
How rude.
Okay. Give me a second. I gotta do the stupid little screen thing to get out of the screen because I have never found an easier way out of it. So do that. Get out of there.
Inception.
That's totally what it was. Yeah, I am.
I'm Leonardo DiCaprio, and you're Tom Hardy.
You know what? No, we'll jump to this one, and then maybe once I have this open, I'll pop to the other one. All right. So, another thing that happened this week was we had a little news about this is like Happy News Day. Why are you so upset?
Because this man did not know how to give an interview.
All right, so we have. I think this was actually announced a few days ago. But new CW Entertainment president Brad Schwartz, not Ben Schwartz, Brad Schwartz outlines a scrappy network approach under Nexstar. I love to use the word scrappy there.
Where's my wallet? Let me throw some money into those stocks. Here.
Okay, so the first thing I saw when I read it too was this. This was the first thing that jumped out at me when I saw this. A lot of people saw that and they're like, "Oh, Schitt's Creek. Well, that's a good show. If he can make Schitt's Creek, then great." He didn't make Schitt's Creek. He had nothing to do with it except for buying the rights to use it in the U.S. That is his skill set, is buying shows. He is not there to create new shows. He is there to leech off of shows already made elsewhere and buy them for the network at a cheap price. That is his job. So anybody that is looking at it going, well, maybe he's going to save my show, unless your show is filming for another station in a different country, then no, he's not. the other thing I saw further down in the article, where was that quote? Is it even further down? This was it, yes. All right. The CW is looking to dramatically lower the licensing fees that they pay to studios, both Warner's and CBS, as well as outside buyers per Schwartz, in an effort to make programming profitable. So what they mean by that when they say that is when they get a show from Warner Brothers, CBS, CTV in Canada, BBC in England, wherever they're getting the show from, they're paying a fee to license that show to put on their thing. Now, in the past, when what is it that you have to always aim for? 88 episodes, syndication. When syndication was a lot more vital, there were exceptions to this rule. There were shows that would be like, okay, we're at 74 episodes. We really need to get to syndication to make back end money down the road off this show. And they would sell the rights to those shows to a network for cheap to sometimes nothing to get those 14 episodes on the air so they can make the back end profit down the road off DVD sales and redistributing it on like TBS or something like that. That used to be a thing. But syndication has really taken a backseat. It's not nearly as vital now as it was even 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So the licensing is much more important nowadays than it used to be. So he's trying to say we want shows that are going to be cheap to license. Cheap to license shows are not original scripted programming. You are not paying somebody the same rate for an original scripted program as you would for something you're getting second hand. Family Law, Coroner, shows like this are second hand shows that they have bought from a Canadian distributor who's already aired them in Canada. What they're giving you is second hand content. The Flash, Superman and Lois, Riverdale, shows like this are first hand. Those have a much, 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 much higher licensing fee.
And goes up every year.
That too. So actually, that's not fully accurate because that again depends on the.
Or it can go after a certain amount of years.
Yeah, it depends on what their goal is. Like again, this goes back to the old days where syndication mattered. If you're close to syndication, you might barter a deal with your with the network to get it out there. Perfect example was a show I used to watch, Fringe. Season 4 and season 5 of Fringe, they almost practically gave away to Fox to air so that they could get to their 100 episodes. But that is not very often now under the new era that we're in where streaming is more important than syndication. Doesn't mean syndication's worth nothing, but it's not as prominent as it was before the invention of streaming. So you're not going to have a show like Superman and Lois being sold to this studio for the same price that they're buying Family Law. You just are not going to ever see that happen. There is never, ever going to be a time where Warner Brothers is going to look at this and go, yeah, we'll take all the financial risk on it and give it to you for almost nothing. They want their licensing fee because they've put out money on this. Family Law already aired. Family Law has already filmed season 3 in Canada, and they're only showing season 1 right now. They're buying secondhand material in that case. So when people see the licensing fee thing, this is what I'm trying to point out to people is original programming that your own network is paying firsthand to have first rights to versus something you're paying for that is now 2 years removed. Those licensing fees are vastly different. And When he's talking about the CW is looking to dramatically lower the licensing fee, what he's saying, literally without actually saying the words, is we're not going to be buying new content. He can't afford to buy new content with a lowered licensing fee. He just can't do it. Maybe that's even why Whose Line Is It Anyway got canceled, because maybe the licensing fee was too high. I have no idea. Because that's original content, right? It doesn't air somewhere else. It's exclusive to CW first, right?
Didn't they pick it? Wait, hold on. Whose line is it? Because I feel like that show like used to exist.
It did. It used to, but it's clearly a CW show now.
See, it originally aired on ABC and ABC Family from August 5th, 1998 to December 15, 2007, hosted by Drew Carey. A revival of the show hosted by each type began airing on the CW on July 16, 2013.
So since 2013, they've owned the rights to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's original programming that they are paying the licensing for. They're paying original licensing programming for that.
Yeah. Having to pay to Disney is probably not cheap.
So there's why it got canceled, is because it's an original program that they have to pay first-hand licensing for. So you might also see the likes of, what else do they have? Penn and Teller Fool Us. Yeah. I wonder how many of these they exclusively, because Whose Line is it anyway? Let me look at the details on Whose Line. Oh my god, it doesn't even have its own page. How is that possible? Oh no, it does. Never mind.
Also, Master Evolution Worlds.
So yeah, it's a Warner Brothers property. So they would have had to pay first-hand licensing fees to Warner Brothers for that property. There you go, another Warner Brothers content gone. Who makes Penn and Teller? I don't know either of these production companies. Who the fuck is September Films and 1/17 Productions?
Might be mine.
No. Well, good for you.
Yeah, thank you. Original network was ITV, whatever the hell that is. It's a British free-to-air public broadcast television network. Okay, whatever.
September Films is a UK independent television and film production company. So I don't know what type of deals they would have. But clearly different than Warner Brothers would be. But yeah, so there's a very quick, not very technical explanation of why your favorite programs are also not coming back, is because the original programming aspect of it versus secondary content. Let me get to this Gary question, and maybe I will hop over to the other one that I tried to open up that is sitting there to open up. We have Gary, thanks again, and he's got to know, do you think Flash and Superman won't get their final season since they have not announced a winter schedule? They will get their final seasons, Gary. There is no way that they put all this money in to not have them air. This is not like Batgirl. Batgirl was a situation where they had a legal loophole. They could get out of that property by saving a bunch of money. They can't have that with Superman and Lois and the Flash.
I can even look at when they have announced like previous like winter premieres, in previews and everything. But let me take a look.
This is what I would say right now, Gary. Even if, let's say tomorrow, the CW just decides out of the blue, they're never making programming again. They're just like, we're done. We're cutting everything off today. They're far enough into these seasons that I believe Netflix and HBO Max, which are the streaming rights holders of both of those shows, would be like, okay, we'll finish off the season. We're deep enough in. It's a little bit more money than we want to throw in, but we want this season. Now, they wouldn't back a whole season, but they would back that 4 or 6 episodes to finish the season off. I think they're far enough in that they would do that if tomorrow the CW is like, we're out of original scripted television starting today. So you will get it somewhere.
I'm looking for dates from last year.
If these end of DC shows on the CW, where do you see any DC hero shows go next to? Whatever the new HBO Max / Discovery streaming merger thing becomes.
Last year, they announced dates for Superman Lois and other shows on November 5th, 2021. Tomorrow is November 5th.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, that's
so
interesting. So we're not
you
that,
won't
I
get
guess.
shit because it's weekend. So maybe next week, maybe later in November, but it's next Saturday. They might just be like, yeah, we will let them know 2 days before we're supposed to premiere.
Okay. Interesting. I wouldn't have expected it to be that late.
I don't know.
Another
Maybe,
Gary one. Thanks, Gary.
they might announce it right after Stargirl is over when some of these shows are coming back.
Do you think the Flash and Superman and Lois final season will end on the CW? Yes.
I don't understand that question.
Will their show end on the CW? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, where else would they go?
Their
your
streaming
TV,
platforms, Netflix, HBO Max. A lot of people seem to have this idea still that those platforms would invest in an entire season of a show, but they just don't have the money for that. All right, so the other thing that leads into a lot of what we've been talking about was this that came out, and that is the Winchesters and Walker Independents are not getting a back order for the upcoming season, or their first season, first season. So this is a thing, I talked a little bit loosely about this at the start of the day, but most shows, when they get pilot season, they get 13 episodes, or whatever the fixed number is on that network.
Mm-hmm.
Then, once they started filming, the network looks at some of the material that comes in and they make a decision. Do we think this show has more in it than 13 episodes? And if they do, they go back to the studio or back to the production company before they're too far in the writing and be like, hey, don't write this as the finale. We're giving you X amount more episodes, usually between 5 and 10 episodes. Nothing got extra episodes. Nothing. The Winchesters didn't. Walker Independents didn't. I think Gotham Knights didn't either, even though it's not mentioned in this article specifically.
As far as I know, they're not getting picked up for the back nine.
Yeah.
They say so.
So this is a big deal because the network's going to have nothing really airing. They're slowly phasing out television. If they had any intention of being serious about showing original scripted programming, they would probably back 9 these because they need something to fill up those slots in the winter season, and they're not. I don't know what they're going to fill these spots. I mean, I do. It's going to be family law and coroner, but they are. This is a perfect sign that this network has no interest in original scripted programming. When Winchester's, I've heard, has done decent numbers, and I think Walker Independence is doing well too, right?
I heard about Winchester. I don't know about Independence.
So, these shows aren't struggling as far as I know, and they're not being given the green light for more episodes. So the likelihood of any of these other shows that were just in this paragraph here, Gotham Knights, All-American, Homecoming, Kung Fu, Superman, Lois, Walker, and Walker Fates are to all be confirmed. Yeah, I don't see much chance of them getting additional episodes either. But yeah, so
Wah wah.
I saw some people that saw this as a positive because they were like, oh, good, well, that just means the show will be better because it's only 13 episodes instead of 22. And I'm like, you are missing the point of what this really means, because that is not the takeaway from this. I saw a
Well,
lot of people.
well,
I saw a lot of people online
hmm.
that thought the shorter season was a good thing in this situation. And I'm like, you don't understand what this means.
I mean, if I can play devil's advocate for a second,
Okay.
and we're starting to see a lot more networks, specifically broadcast networks, go into this shorter format of doing, anywhere between 13 to 15 to 16 episodes a season. And I know the pandemic definitely affected things for sure, and I think that because they are, they've been, there's a lot of cost for the acquisitions, so I think that yes, it can be also there's no reason why this can't be a good and bad thing. I think that having a like a tight season where they finish up and they go with what they had originally planned, but for episode 13, and then decide on season 2. I think that is definitely a good and possible thing. But at the same time, it can also be one of those like, well, what if we don't bring back them next season and it ends on and the season ends on a cliffhanger, especially for two shows that are brand new. So I can see both sides honestly, um, but you're right. This is definitely like this. It's definitely also something to be concerned about. But I don't think like I think there's some good to be looked at as well because like look like Black Lightning for example, they've only
Yeah,
been
for
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 26
for for a
episodes.
normal year, sure, a 13 episode season, you might look at it and be like, hey, well, that's good. It's going to keep the story condensed and light on filler. But this isn't the case with this. These are new shows that are still developing their story. They have story to give in season one. They don't need a 13 episode shortened season. They're still building their story out. And then, like I said, on top, like you said about like the 13 episode model, more commonplace now.
Mm.
It is on streaming and on uh, your cable networks. On
Some
networks,
broadcasts they do it still though.
on network television, I think you would be hard pressed outside of the CW to count on one hand how many shows you see on the other four networks that are 13 episode seasons that were not 13 episodes because they got canceled mid season. I think you'd be hard pressed to find five.
Fair enough.
But it's a model on the CW because the CW is like I don't know, a tire
Cheap.
fire.
The
Yes,
C and CW stands for sheep.
and the W
Cheap,
stands for wallet.
cheap winners.
Cheap wallet.
Cheap wallets.
So one last thing I had here, but before I do that, I will get to Scott's super chat. Then I'll jump onto that one. Hey Scott, how you doing? Welcome. Will Superman and Lois be canceled? You think? I think the odds are high. Should Flash season 9 give a proper goodbye to Arrowverse shows as a whole? No. Specifically, Batwoman and Legends? No. How you doing, Andy? You got any takes on any of this?
Dear ladies and gentlemen of the Canagraphs viewing audience, this is a public serving announcement to all of you, once and for all. It is not Eric Wallace's responsibility to finish Batwoman and Legends Tomorrow, especially Legends Tomorrow, as it was not Mr. Wallace's fault that the showrunner of Legends Tomorrow decided to fight the network and end on 5 fucking cliffhangers that they will never get resolved. Please remember that Flash Season 9 is about Grant Gustin's leading hater Barry Allen and Candice Patton's Iris Allen, and whoever else is still on the show. It's not Eric Wallace's responsibility to fix the shows that got cancelled. End of the discussion. Back to your regular scheduled program.
I feel like you've had this script written and ready to go for a while.
Warner Brothers paid me to say it. Legal disclaimer, they did not. Legal disclaimer, they did not.
That's the story I'm going with now. When people ask me, I'll be like, yeah, Andrew said that Warner Brothers told him this. So yeah, Scott, there's no chance in hell with 13 episodes they're wrapping up other stories. I don't even think you're gonna, even though we know Javicia is on the Flash, I don't think you get a wrap up even on anything to do with Batwoman. We might see Batwoman, but there's gonna be no follow up on their life.
Maybe a reference or something, but like don't expect them to be like, let's spend a whole episode in Gotham City and catch up with Sophie and Luke and Mary and Alice and whoever
Right.
else was still on the show. Have you been seeing TV shows still anything in Vancouver as this mystery
No, I mean
character?
I've only seen one set since then, and the one set I saw they were wrapped.
Mm.
I got to the set the other day, and I literally got there as I was walking up the street. I heard one of the walkie-talkies um, said rolling. I'm like, okay, cool, good, they're working right now. And as I was walking into the park, and I heard them, and they're like, all right, moving on. And then all the equipment came out of the park.
Maybe she's coming in studio then this week.
Who knows? Should Oliver be in season 9? Well, Oliver's dead. If you meant the Spectre, that's possible, but Oliver
I
is
think it should
dead.
be. I think it should be for the end, for the series finale, to end, with Barry's story. I think that would be, a nice way to kind of, like bring it full circle. But Barry was there for Oliver's series finale and his funeral. I don't know why I'm smiling, but I think, yeah. I mean, I also want to see Steven and Grant work together somehow one last time.
I think there's a reasonable chance he comes back in some capacity, but it shouldn't be as Oliver because Oliver is dead. I watched him die twice.
And he's with Felicity now in Afterlife. So technically Felicity is dead too. Felicity fans, don't come for me. That's how the series finale ended.
I heard Andy say specifically that they killed Felicity.
But I mean, CG. Technically, when the monitor said, "Where I'm taking you, you can never come back from," he basically made Felicity off herself in 2040.
Yeah. Technically, you're right. So one last thing I had in my pile of stream discussions here. More positive news. Andy's gonna if Andy had any hair, he'd be pulling it out right now.
Why would they wait? I mean, I don't know.
So I picked this article because it was a topic I thought Matt looped in to what I was going to talk about anyways. And I'm like, these kind of overlap. So I think it's a good segue. So Stargirl's cancellation spells doom for Superman and Lois. There's a few interesting facts in this article that are worth bringing up. Let me see if I can remember where they are now because I only read it once.
Can you zoom in a little bit? On the article, can you zoom in a little bit?
Oh, you mean like make the text bigger?
Yeah, I mean, I'm old, so,
Is that better?
Much better, thank you.
All right. So it says here, Stargirl is coming to an end with the sinking ship of the CW. I never even saw this the first time. And the return of Henry Cavill's cinematic Superman likely ending Superman and Lois 2. I think those are good points to bring up with everything happening at the CW. And as we've talked about before, Henry Cavill coming back, and you've even brought it up about they don't want to give it away for free on TV. These are problematic for Superman and Lois's survival. Now, there was a couple of points in this article. I just don't remember where I saw them now that I really thought were interesting. So give me a second to speed read through it while Andy gives you clever anecdotes about something.
It is not Eric Walsh's responsibility to take care of Superman, Lois, Tomorrow, or Batwoman, or any other show that has ended these 3 passing years. If he didn't do it for Black Lightning when he came over to Armageddon, he sure as fuck is not going to do it for Legends, where he has to get 9 series regulars. He's not going to do it for Batwoman because they didn't really have much of cliffhangers, and you're getting to Visha anyway, so be happy. They're not going to do it for Stargirl because Stargirl is ending pretty much on a series finale note. They wrote it in mind, and
all right. So this paragraph here kind of is a good segue into it. It's like Stargirl's cancellation doesn't bode well for another hit CW series, Superman and Lois. Amid other issues besides the CW's own dire straits, I love the fact that they're just harping on it so hard. The Superman show is likely going to be the last to get the axe. Here's why it may be going up, and away in the future. That's just mean to word it that way.
This is one hell of a feature. I mean, I don't work with CBR, but they're part of the company that's owns the screener is owned by. So,
Yeah.
I know they have like a different style
The
in
one
some
reason I
cases.
picked this article was because, like I said, there's some things in it that I saw that connected to what I was going to talk about. And then also on top of it, CBR has used my content a couple of times and is linked back to me. So I feel like I should at least, once in a while, when it's relevant to the story,
So a
bring them back in. There's a
screenwriting.
reason. There's a reason you see me use Hollywood Reporter a lot. It's because places like Variety and Deadline have irked me. They have annoyed me enough that I don't want to give them the clicks.
Mhm.
So a company, when I have a company that's done right by me, sometimes I'll at least give them, if I can find a way to use their content, a click. Plus, the link is in the description for anyone that wants to follow along with the conversation we're having. Okay, so the Arrowverse, the shared universe of DC Comics TV show adaptations began slowly dying after the conclusion of the crossover event Crisis on Infinite Earths. I speak many good words. Shows were canceled one after another, and currently The Flash is the only remaining entry in the once virile universe. That's because Superman and Lois was reeled as being in its own continuity. Oh, poor Andy's going to get triggered. With the likely idea
Whatever.
being to disconnect it from what was obviously a sinking ship. I mean, we won't get into that. Unfortunately, that might not be enough to keep it saved. Stargirl was also in its own continuity. This was one of the things that I wanted to bring up. Stargirl did not. I mean, we know it was in the crossover in the after credit scene, but it was not technically part of the Arrowverse in that aspect. In that we never saw them cross over. In fact, she's crossing over with Titans and Doom Patrol. She's not even crossing over with an Arrowverse show.
The only the only crossover that because they in season 2 they John was the ship's Jay Garrick on Stargirl is the same one
Yeah.
from the Flash. That's when they brought it in, like more like okay, like it's part of that. Arrowverse multiverse has always been part of this franchise's structure. Started with Supergirl when it was still on CBS, and even when it came to the CW, like they had Earth
Mm-hmm.
38. Like Arrowverse, I've never seen it as mainly just an Earth One or now Earth Prime
Oh, I agree.
franchise.
I agree with you. That I'm not going to get into the nitpicking of that, but
No,
it is
no,
clear that Stargirl as a series, we never had a crossover with them. You can say the
yeah,
Jay Garrick thing. That is a one character thing. That is not what I would call a crossover. A crossover I would
no
have considered characters
tie-ins. We can say
actively on the
tie-ins.
show.
Hmm.
You know, so that was one of the things I thought this article. When it said it has its own continuity, accurate. It doesn't.
No.
We don't know anything of Stargirl in the active Arrowverse. They've never crossed paths. There's no Barry Allen or Batwoman interaction with her in some way, right? Jay Garrick did, but we don't know the context of how that worked, what Earth it's on, or anything like that.
Earth 2.
If you say so, I
No,
don't.
but
I don't
that's
follow.
what that's what they said in Crisis. Don't you remember the montage when they were when they were showing each
Okay,
Earth?
I don't remember what number they gave it, but we'll say that's true. Um,
You were in that sentence. Star goes all in its continuity.
Yeah. So, though this gave the series the potential to form a sprawling continuity of its own, that's not going to be the case. And this is, again, specific to how the Superman and Lois one goes, because that's how Superman and Lois has been pitching their show for the last year, all of a sudden out of the blue.
Boys.
Yeah. There are other worlds, with other
Leagues of
superheroes.
superheroes.
Yeah.
Boys.
The series is ending with its third season despite the continued good reception from fans and critics. That's another thing that we all, for 6+ years, 7+ years, 8, 9, 12+ years, if you have good reception, if you have good social media engagement, your show's getting picked up on the CW. Not the case anymore. Superman and Lois has had similar reception with the combination of the character moments from Smallville and the DC Extended Universe Superman's darker palette, making it the most universally beloved take on the character in years. Well, there hasn't been another one in years, but okay, sure. the fact that Stargirl has been canceled proves that good word of mouth isn't enough to stay alive. This is a good thing to bury into people's heads over and over again. It does not matter what social media hashtag you pick up.
Or
Does not
billboards.
matter anymore. It's not gonna save your show under the new CW, and that is why it just is. Um, in this case, they want to get rid of any shows unrelated to either Matt Reeves' Batman or the DC Universe, formerly DCEU. Obviously, that includes Superman and Lois, with another version of Kal-El presenting some Kryptonian competition. And that is a big point that you've made in the past, and I kind of hemmed and hawed at it, but it's kind of evident with his comments recently about wanting to reignite the Superman movie franchise.
After
They don't
15
want that
years.
They don't want that competition. They don't want Superman competing with Superman now. You know? The return of Henry Cavill to the role of Superman has surprised and pleased many fans, with Man of Steel 2 finally in the works nearly a decade after the predecessor was released. Current WBD intends to prioritize the DC Trinity, with Superman being one character he wishes to no longer see languishing when it comes to films.
Whatever
Thus,
this
with
week.
Cavill back and his own schedule cleared up, it's clear which version of Superman and which medium DC Studios currently prioritizes. I have to agree with that. I think once Cavill was like, "Yep, I'm in," they're kind of like, well, "Get rid of this stupid TV show we have." Like, I think that was the conversation that happened in their offices. Um, Not only would Superman be unrelated to continuity, but it would also run the risk of taking away from the image of Superman as a film property. I still to this day find that stupid, but that is how their mindset goes. Superman has typically been a TV character in times of cinematic hiatus, with Lois and Clark, the New Adventures of Woman. The New Adventures of Woman.
um,
I'm just gonna move past it because I don't understand. But okay.
it's supposed to be Superman, the new Adventures of Superman, not the new Adventures of Woman. But I don't work. Keep your
Okay.
it's colleagues. I'm not gonna laugh too much.
Okay. Smallville announced Superman and Lois coming out in such famines. Man of Steel 2 will bring this period to an end, being likely only one of several more appearances for Cavill. Interesting. I've never really looked at the dates of the when the shows came out, but it kind of
It's not
feels like
entirely
that
right.
tracks.
Smallville was on during when Superman Returns came out. Actually, there was things on Smallville during that season they couldn't do when Superman Returns was coming out. Apparently, they couldn't do like the Fortress of Solitude or something like that while Superman Lois was Superman Returns was in theaters or before it had come out. I think even like Clark and Lois on Smallville couldn't even like have any romantic dynamics until Superman Returns was like one and finished and done.
Okay.
Because it's too confusing having multiple characters, apparently, right? So,
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be able to understand that.
well, imagine if it was two characters
Okay,
at the
so
same
that's the
time.
end. That's the end of the article, basically. So yeah, those are some of the points that I was bringing up, and so yeah, Superman and Lois is in this weird spot where they're on a network that is getting rid of all their programming, and on top of it, the character that is the lead of this series is about to come back to film.
And the third
I
release
don't like.
then,
Oh,
the lease, production lease.
oh, you know what? Good point. Yeah, I never thought of that. I mean, I have many times, but not in this current moment. I hadn't thought of it. Yeah. So another one, guys, on top of those two facts is the fact their lease ends at the end of this season. They can sign a new lease. The city has already given them permission to sign a new lease, but it's on a 3-year deal. They don't get to sign a 1-year deal. It's a 3-year blocks that this lease is decided by, which means Warner Brothers, who I'm just going to generalize it as have been a little cheap lately,
You don't say.
would need to buy the property for 3 years to do one season of programming if they decide they're only going to do one more year. They're just not going to do that. They're not going to put out money on 3 years. So the likelihood of them doing a 4th season is so slim. I am willing right here and today to say I don't think you get a season 4. Victor had a follow-up question. Can Stargirl Breck join Titans if Titans is renewed? Probably not. And the reason for that is she's got a contract right now for a series of movies that she's doing, and that series of movies has her tied up until early 2024. I don't know when Titans would start filming their next season, but it would be in 2023 if they get renewed. Could she come in down the line? I guess it's possible. But at this immediate moment, I don't think it's probable. And I should let you go because don't you have your own show to do in like an hour?
Like, yeah, 20 minutes, but everything is already finished with the document and everything. So I just have to jump from, like, I have like a tab I can just jump into.
Right.
So,
Okay, we will keep this going for a few more minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to bring up Chainsaw's channel link so that everybody can know where to find Andy in 20 minutes.
The New Adventures of Woman. Wow, that is...
Huh?
Was the type of the New Adventures of
Oh,
Woman.
yeah.
This is the funniest.
I mean, they tried, okay?
Sure.
So I don't know what time, are you guys starting right at 6 or are you guys starting at 6:30?
6:05.
6:05. So in about 25 minutes, guys, Chainsaw's doing a stream that Andy will be on too. You can ask him the exact same questions there.
Yeah,
and maybe you'll get new answers.
Yeah, we will have a lot of topics tonight to talk about.
Maybe you'll get some new answers there. Or maybe something new will have dropped in the next 20 minutes that'll be breaking news, and we will find out that the CW has brought back all these shows and are bringing back shows that have been buried. They're going to bring back Smallville. They're going to do the Justice U show. Green Arrow and Canaries is coming back for 12 seasons. All this might drop in the next 20 minutes. Chainsaw said you better join us, everyone. So you heard it right here first. If you don't, he's making threats against you or against the CW. Will people who haven't seen Rebels be confused watching Ahsoka? Will you watch both Ahsoka series? I'll watch the Ahsoka series. I don't know what Rebels is. What's Rebels?
I think it's an animated show.
Oh, yeah. I never watched any of the animated stuff.
Yeah, you're asking the wrong people. I mean, Chainsaw, you can probably answer.
Chainsaw would have probably an answer on this because Chainsaw, I've heard, maybe I'm being misinformed, might be a bit of a Star Wars fan. Just possible. He might be the type of guy that would maybe make a movie about Star Wars. Maybe. So in 20 minutes, you can ask him. Get over to his stream, ask him, drop a super chat in there being like, what are your input on Star Wars? And maybe he'll have an opinion.
Victor was asking, Canada, will you be on Andy's show today?
Probably not. So I've been turning down a lot of requests lately. And part of the reason for that is the months before last, I went over on my data because I had been using my phone a lot for streaming and like just talking to people through streams. And I'm trying to judge where the line is and how much time is. So I want to do it as little as possible this month. So I am for this month going to limit how often I go on other people's streams until I have a handle on how much time I'm eating up of my own. And then after that, I can decide how much more often to go on.
So what he's saying is he's going to be an after party tomorrow because he hates Endless Multiverse.
I don't think I won't be on the after party tomorrow because the scheduling time for that for me is kind of bad now because Saturdays for me is all about GeoGuessr. I do a stream in the morning where I'm doing GeoGuessr. Then I watch a tournament for 3 hours, and that tournament usually ends about an hour before their stream. So I need a nap after that. So I don't get there nearly as often as I used to.
Sleeping is nice on Saturdays.
Any other topics that we're missing, guys?
Well, there was another CW cancellation. That your reaction was up because I was like, he's like, it's either Kung Fu or All American Homecoming. I'm like, no.
What tournament do I watch? It's a tournament, the game I played, GeoGuessr. There's a big tournament every Saturday that has most of the best players in it every week. So I always watch that on Saturdays. And it's usually like 3 hours. So I do GeoGuessr myself before the stream, then I raid into their stream and watch it for 3 hours. So it's like 5 hours of GeoGuessr for me. So after all that, I need a break. And the after party starts like an hour after that. So that's why I haven't made it nearly as often lately.
Well, it's because CW is giving him his own show where he will be going live after every CW show airing. But we're going to do after Riverdale, after Flash, after.
I hate to tell you, but the CW has canceled their deal with me because my licensing fee was too high.
Oh.
Yeah, they couldn't meet my demands.
You don't want to work with Camera?
I was like, I need you guys to at least bring me a cheeseburger and a drink each episode, and they're like, that is way too much.
His own trailer.
They're like, I don't need a trailer. I just wanted them to bring me a cheeseburger and a drink, and they're like, that is way too much.
I mean, what if the other photographers, because now they're gonna want to take photos of you, like they're gonna, there's gonna be like Canada graphs. I try, like I hear Grant, like, listen, I didn't want to tell you, but Grant emailed me and asked if he could borrow this camera from me. He's like, listen, I need to take some such photos from the new show, Canada Graphs Dale, Independence, all Canada Graphs Independence Dale. That's all.
You're really trying to make this work.
Yeah. Listen, I picked all the settings for him. Like, Grant, the camera's ready for you. Candace wants to borrow my tripod. She has a camera, but she's like, I don't like my tripod. I also hear that Jesse Elmar, he seems to have a lot of time this season in Vancouver. So he said, like, can I like, where does Canada usually film at? Like, well, I know he's going to be filming on the WB lot every Sunday after Gio gets the tournaments with David Zaslav. So could you imagine he was like, I don't know where it is. And Steven is going to do a cameo in the pilot of Canada Graphs Independence Day.
No. I have a rider in my contract that I will not work with him.
And Cam McNamara will be guest hosting on the After Canada Graphs show.
There's a better chance of that happening than him being on there.
And David Ramsey is going to start the Canada Graphs verse. With Ken is going to be the anti-monitor now, the new anti-monitor. Femis Carabao will be one of the paragons of. You
really have popped up a few places lately.
I mean, listen, my parents are out of town. I'm kind of lonely, but they're traveling. I'm like, and good for them. They're in their 60s. I'm happy they can travel, but I like talking to people. I like hanging out with people. So plus, I don't want to go out and socialize because of the pandemic and me being in a risk group. So it's fine. It's nice to connect more with the communities. So when having, I think if there's one good thing to come out of the pandemic, which is, it's horrible that it had to be this way, but it's like I'm, connecting more, doing more live streams with people. Like I don't think Canada have ever spoken to each other like verbally before the pandemic. Like, we had DM each other and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I had not spoken to many people outside of those physically in Vancouver because I didn't know how to do this. Like just plain up, the first live stream I ever did, it's actually up on my channel still, was literally, where are my lives? Oh, I am on my lives. Okay. My first live stream was at the start of the pandemic, and it was, it was March 3rd, 2020. It was the first time I did a live stream. That was the first time I had used my phone to connect live with people on the internet. So, yeah. And that stream is some quality stuff, by the way. It's 13 minutes long, and I had a piece of paper over my phone so that people wouldn't see my face because it was only a test stream.
Do you want to see what Star Labs looks like on Titans? Because it's hilarious in comparison.
I didn't know that they had a Star Labs on Titans.
Yeah, they've just introduced that. I will DM it to you. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh. You'll be like, "What has the Flash been doing then this whole season?" This is gonna be so funny, you guys. Hold on, I'm sending it now. It's gonna be iconic. It's in your DM.
I've noticed lately I have to refresh my goddamn DMs for some reason when a new message comes in. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? Okay, guys, hold on a second. I need to bring this up because this is something else. I need to open an image in a new tab. Let's start with that. And then pull this off screen so that I can.
Oh, I'm getting a call from David Zaslav. Hello? Yes, he does need a new computer. Like, when can you send it? Yeah, I think he'll need 2 monitors, a printer. Let's do a 3D printer too. There we go.
Oops. I did not mean to do that yet because I had not presented yet.
Listen, all he wants is a cheeseburger and a drink every day, Zaslav. Like, you can get it for $0.99 at a good McDonald's. Like, wait, do you like McDonald's?
I mean, I said a cheeseburger. I didn't say fake food. Okay, let's look at this monstrosity.
Monstrosity? What is
wrong? What in the fuck is this?
It's Star Labs.
That is not Star Labs. It doesn't look anything like BC Place Stadium.
You know, it could be a skating studio. I don't know if all those buildings are CGI or not. You would have to have someone in Toronto, but like that is.
Oh, it's obviously it's CGI. This is a Toronto show? Yeah. Where the fuck is this? Give me a second to see if I can remember where this might be.
GeoGuessr time. Where is location of Titan Season 4 in Toronto?
Okay, I know that building, but I don't know where it is in coordination with this building.
Oh, I can find it.
Could this be the front of... No, it can't be, because there's a courtyard down here. I think this is maybe a part of Toronto I haven't been to.
Let's see, I'm gonna try and see if I can find it.
I'm sure I could message one of my Toronto buddies and be like, where the fuck is this? And they'd be like, oh, that's so-and-so street. And I'd be like,
this is the MTCC South building.
The MTCC South building?
Yeah, whatever that is. It's a convention center, apparently.
I mean, I would assume it's a convention center, but...
Wait, how could you know based on the name?
Well, because CC is usually convention center. Oh, it's right at the CN Tower. Wow. I've walked by this many times. I just don't recognize it. Let me look at a street view and see what it looked like street view wise here. See if there's a reason I don't recognize it. I mean, they've clearly done some CGI to it, but
yeah, now that I see, yeah, because I'm like, I think two of those buildings are CGI. I think the bridge, the two tower with the bridge, I think that is definitely CGI. But there are some similarities.
Yeah, there's nothing here even closely remotely to that except for the courtyard. So hold on, I'll bring this up.
What an interesting place to pick. I would never have guessed that was a convention center.
Yeah, give me a second.
Okay.
I just gotta do some magic. All right. So this is how the front of it looks. So this is the part that you see in that photo.
Mm.
The thing. Everything else around it is made up. Like this building. This building over here is the one I saw in the background, and I'm like, I recognize that, but I don't know from the angle why I know it from anywhere. And yeah, here's the whatchamacallit thingy, CN Tower, right there.
You know, I can understand why they would pick this location because this is supposed to be Metropolis. So I think they want to like go into like the city skylines, like that where it looks the biggest to have the Metropolis feel like the Superman statue, for example, that is completely CGI. Mm-hmm. But interesting. So you've been there?
Oh yeah. Like when I'm doing the film festival, I spend a lot of time in this area right here. So, and my train is, where the fuck is the train? Oh, right there. So this is when I would leave town every day, I would walk, usually I'd walk down this street and then cross here. So I walked right in front of it all the time.
Oh, nice. Just like 3 blocks.
Yeah. You'll probably recognize this location though. Do you know a show that might have used this building?
The Boys?
Yeah. That's Seven Tower.
Yeah, and that's also where I think, wasn't that the scene where Anthony Highlander, when he like when like people were like calling.
Oh yeah, they've filmed in front of there several times.
Yeah, now I think this is the reason I recognize this was because like that's where he like blasted everyone.
Yeah. So he would have been probably standing over there somewhere, and I think the guy he shot would have been like right in this area. Whenever they have red carpets for the festival, this is exactly where it is. The press tent is all over here, and then they get dropped off here, and the fans are waiting here.
Well, now in a way, I mean, listen, Toronto is like, this would have been interesting what Gotham Knights would look like if they had filmed their season 1 there. But because Titans also uses Toronto for Gotham, I think it might be a good thing they went to Atlanta, because otherwise it's gonna. I feel like Gotham Knights, Gotham City, and Titans Gotham City will probably like coincide, and that could be an issue. But like this is that good location to do Star Labs. But yeah, there's no Cisco, no Caitlin. They have employees there. They have uniforms. They have schedules and time like time cards, and they have at least one gay person in that building, which the Flash doesn't really. Yeah.
You still remember my first live on the streets? That one, I've got that one still up on my channel too. Victor, new thing that YouTube just did in the last week is everybody's channels now up at the top. There are tabs for videos, live streams, and shorts. You don't have to go through the entirety of my section anymore to find them. You can just go into the lives and go and look at just live streams if you want. So you can find it real easy. Now, yeah, they literally just did that in the last week. I'd heard they were doing it like 5 months ago. I had heard it was coming, and I never noticed it again until this week. I, funny enough, noticed it on my channel because I went to look at something, and I'm like, where's that video? And I didn't realize I was looking in just my live chats.
Interesting.
So yeah, now if you go to someone's channel and you want to look at just their live chats, those have their own tab now. Or if you want to look at just their videos, that has its own tab now. If you want to look at all of their content, now you're kind of screwed. You have to hop back and forth. It's weird.
But I like this. Good on them. Yeah, Twitter.
Yeah.
You should have some good updates, not new owners.
GeoGuessr this weekend? Yeah, there should be, Laura. I do have a tournament, I think, on Sunday that I have to do. So depending how I do in that and my sleep schedule, I would say probably, but anything's possible. I might miss out. We will see. I do intend to do it, but I've been wrong before. So it is 5:57 now, and I have to go to the washroom before I tune in. There's this live chat I'm gonna go watch now.
Candace Cross.
It's this guy, Chinstrap Reacts, and he has a sidekick, Andrew, something or other. Oh, you're blinking again. Good. Now we know. Yeah. So guys, he just said it there that
I'm officiating Jegra.
Yeah. All right. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this up here and give Andy 2 minutes so that he can do whatever he needs to do in 2 minutes, and I need to go to the washroom. So thank you, Andy, for coming by. Thanks everyone else for coming by. Thanks for the super chats, guys. And hopefully I will have some that too. And hopefully the next time I have a live chat for you guys, there will be something in the stratosphere of not negative, at least, news. I won't even aim for positive at this point. I'll just aim for not negative. You know, an uneventful day. Like Warner Brothers announces they have DVDs for sale. I don't know. Just something different, you know? Maybe we'll get a flash airing date. I don't know. But that's it for today, guys. Thanks, everyone, for coming by. And I will see you all sometime in the future. And don't forget, Chainsaw's stream starts any second now. So hurry over there. You shouldn't even be standing here to watch me say this. You should be over there impatiently waiting, knocking on his door, begging for it to start. All right. That's it, guys. Thanks. And bye.